Welcome back for part 2 of our video about the amazing elephant. Let's get started. Elephants are herbivorous and will eat leaves, twigs, fruit, bark, grass, and roots. African elephants mostly browse, while Asian elephants mainly graze. They can eat as much as 300 kilograms or 660 pounds of food every day, in addition to being able to drink 40 liters or 11 US gallons of water each day. Elephants tend to stay near water sources, and they have morning, afternoon, and nighttime feeding sessions. At midday, elephants rest under trees and may doze off for short periods while standing, but sleeping occurs at night while the animal is lying down. Elephants will average 3 to 4 hours of sleep per day. Both males and family groups typically move no more than 20 kilometers or 12 miles a day, but distances as far as 180 kilometers or 112 miles have been recorded in the Etosha region of Namibia. Elephants go on seasonal migrations in response to changes in environmental conditions. In northern Botswana, they travel 325 kilometers or 202 miles to the Chobe River after the local waterholes dry up in late August. Because of their large size, elephants have a huge impact on their environments and are considered keystone species. Their habit of uprooting trees and undergrowth can transform savanna into grasslands, giving smaller herbivores the opportunity to access the tops of the trees mowed down by the elephants, which provides these smaller herbivores with a food source they would not get otherwise. When elephants dig for water during droughts, they create waterholes that can be used by other animals. And when they use waterholes, they end up making them bigger, allowing even more animals to access the water. At Mount Elgon, elephants dig through caves and pave the way for other animals like ungulates, hyraxes, bats, birds, and insects. Elephants are also important seed dispersers. African forest elephants consume and deposit many seeds over great distances, with positive effect on germination. Because most of the food elephants eat goes undigested, their dung can provide food for other animals, such as dung beetles and monkeys. Elephants typically coexist peacefully with other herbivores, which will usually stay out of their way. But some aggressive interactions between elephants and rhinoceros have been recorded. The size of adult elephants makes them nearly invulnerable to predators. Although calves may be preyed on by lions, spotted hyenas, and wild dogs in Africa, as well as tigers in Asia. The lions of Savuti, Botswana, have adapted to hunting elephants, targeting calves, juveniles, and in some cases even small adults. And there are rare reports of adult Asian elephants falling prey to tigers. Gestation in elephants typically lasts 1.5 to 2 years, and the female will not give birth again for at least 4 years. Typically, only a single calf is born, but twins sometimes do occur. Calves are born roughly 85 centimeters or 33 inches tall and with a weight of around 120 kilograms or 260 pounds. They are precocial at birth and quickly stand and walk to follow their mother and their herd. A newborn calf will attract the attention of all the herd members. Adults and most of the other young will gather around the newborn, touching and caressing it with their trunks. For the first few days, the mother limits access to her young. Alloparenting, where a calf is cared for by someone other than its mother, takes place in some family groups. For the first few days, the newborn is unsteady on its feet and needs its mother's help. It relies on touch, smell, and hearing, as its eyesight is less developed. With little coordination in its trunk, it can only flop it around, which may cause it to trip. When it reaches its second week, the calf can walk with more balance and has more control over its trunk. After its first month, the trunk can grab and hold objects, but still lacks sucking abilities, and the calf must bend down to drink. It continues to stay near its mother, as it is still reliant on her. For its first 3 months, a calf relies entirely on its mother's milk, after which it begins to forage for vegetation and can use its trunk to collect water. At the same time, there is progress in lip and leg movements. By 9 months, mouth, trunk, and foot coordination are mastered. After a year, a calf is fully capable of grooming, drinking, and feeding itself, though it still needs its mother's milk and protection until it is at least 2 years old. Play behavior in calves differs between the sexes. Females run or chase each other while males play fight. Elephants have long lifespans, reaching 60 to 70 years of age. A captive male Asian elephant named Lin Wang lived for 86 years. Elephants are among the most intelligent animals. They exhibit mirror self-recognition, an indication of self-awareness and cognition that has also been demonstrated in some apes and dolphins. One study of a captive female Asian elephant suggested the animal was capable of learning and distinguishing between several visual and acoustic pairs. Elephants are among the species known to use tools. An Asian elephant has been observed fine-tuning branches for use as fly swatters. Elephants are popularly thought of as having an excellent memory. This could have a factual basis. They possibly have cognitive maps, which give them long-lasting memories of their environment on a wide scale. Scientists debate the extent to which elephants feel emotion. They are attracted to the bones of their own kind, regardless of whether they are related. As with chimpanzees and dolphins, a dying or dead elephant may elicit attention and aid from others, including those from other groups. This has been interpreted as expressing concern. Circus elephants have traditionally been a major part of zoos and circuses around the world. In circuses, they are trained to perform tricks. The most famous circus elephant was probably Jumbo, who was a major attraction in the Barnum and Bailey Circus. Jumbo was born in 1861 and died on September 15, 1885, at the age of 24. Asian elephants were always more common than their African counterparts in modern zoos and circuses. The first elephant to perform in a circus was an Asian elephant named Old Bet, who arrived in the United States around 1808. Owned by farmer-turned-showman Hacaliah Bailey, Old Bet was a spectacle like no other, introducing many Americans to an exotic animal they had only read about. Her popularity was unmatched, and she became the centerpiece of Bailey's traveling menagerie, setting the stage for elephants as circus icons. Sadly, Old Bet's life ended tragically when she was killed by a disgruntled farmer, but her legacy lived on, sparking the trend of including elephants in circuses worldwide. By the mid-19th century, elephants had become synonymous with circuses. Companies like Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey showcased massive herds of elephants, dazzling crowds with synchronized performances and elaborate parades. These gentle giants symbolized the grandeur and mystique of the traveling circus. However, behind the spectacle, there was a darker reality. Elephants were subjected to harsh training methods involving bullhooks, chains, and other tools designed to instill fear and compliance. Their lives were often spent in confinement, enduring grueling schedules and inadequate care. As public awareness of animal welfare grew, the role of elephants in circuses began to be questioned. Investigations revealed widespread mistreatment, sparking outrage among animal rights advocates. Campaigns by organizations like PETA and the Humane Society led to a cultural shift as audiences demanded change. In 2016, Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey retired their elephant acts, and in 2017, the circus closed altogether. Zoo elephants have long fascinated people, and zoos have played a major role in bringing these majestic creatures closer to the public. From their humble beginnings in small enclosures to the expansive sanctuaries of today, the story of elephants in zoos reflects the evolution of our understanding of these incredible animals. The first recorded elephant in a zoo arrived in the 18th century. In 1792, a young Asian elephant was brought to the Jardin des Plantes in Paris, becoming one of the earliest zoo attractions. Elephants quickly became a must-have for zoos, as their size, intelligence, and exotic nature drew crowds like no other animal. These early zoos, however, were designed more for spectacle than for the well-being of the animals. By the 20th century, elephants had become a staple of zoos worldwide. They were used not just for display, but also for performances and rides, often living in conditions far removed from their natural habitats. However, as research into elephant behavior and health advanced, attitudes began to change. Studies revealed the physical and psychological toll of captivity. In the late 20th century, zoos began shifting their focus from entertainment to conservation and education. Modern elephant enclosures are designed to mimic natural habitats, providing space for roaming, social interaction, and mental stimulation. Zoos now play a critical role in elephant conservation. They participate in breeding programs to support endangered populations and fund efforts to protect elephants in the wild. For many people, seeing an elephant in a well-cared-for environment inspires a lifelong connection to wildlife. Despite improvements, keeping elephants in zoos remains controversial. Critics argue that no enclosure, no matter how large, can replicate the wide-ranging habitats elephants need. In response, some zoos have begun phasing out their elephant programs and transferring their animals to sanctuaries, where they can live in more spacious and naturalistic settings. As we move forward, the focus is shifting toward ensuring the well-being of every elephant in human care, whether in zoos or sanctuaries, and protecting their wild counterparts through education and conservation. The story of elephants in zoos is a reflection of our changing relationship with the natural world. From curiosity to compassion, their presence has taught us the importance of respecting and protecting the animals we love. The future of elephants in zoos is one of balance, ensuring they thrive while inspiring us to safeguard their wild relatives. Elephants have walked alongside humans for thousands of years, not just as majestic creatures, but as powerful symbols in art, religion, and culture. The cultural significance of elephants can be traced back to prehistoric times. Early humans depicted them in cave paintings, emphasizing their awe-inspiring size and strength. As civilizations developed, elephants became symbols of power and prestige. In ancient Mesopotamia, elephants were seen as exotic creatures, while in Egypt, they represented strength and were associated with royal power. Across the Indus Valley, they appeared in seals and pottery, hinting at their spiritual and cultural importance. In India, elephants hold a sacred place in Hinduism. The elephant-headed god Ganesha is one of the most worshipped deities, symbolizing wisdom, prosperity, and the removal of obstacles. Elephants are also closely tied to Buddhism, where they represent mental strength and enlightenment. In African mythology, elephants are revered as symbols of wisdom, longevity, and family unity. Many communities view them as spiritual guardians, embodying the essence of the natural world. In Southeast Asia, elephants play central roles in royal ceremonies and traditional folklore, often symbolizing strength and good fortune. In Chinese culture, they are associated with peace and prosperity, appearing in art and feng shui as harbingers of harmony. Throughout history, elephants have been symbols of power and prestige. In India, Southeast Asia, and Persia, they carried royalty in grand processions, signifying wealth and divine authority. And in warfare, their imposing presence struck fear into enemies on the battlefield. In medieval Europe, elephants were considered exotic treasures, gifted by rulers to showcase alliances or to awe their courts. These animals were rare and became a symbol of the extraordinary and the divine. Today, elephants continue to play vital roles in cultural traditions. Festivals like Kerala's Thrissur Puram in India celebrate elephants in all their grandeur, while in Thailand, Elephant Day honors their contribution to history and heritage. Beyond traditions, elephants have become global symbols of conservation and the fight against extinction. They appear in art, literature, and film, inspiring people worldwide to protect these magnificent creatures and the ecosystems they inhabit. The cultural significance of elephants transcends time and borders, connecting us to our shared history and the natural world. By celebrating their legacy and protecting their future, we honor not just these majestic animals, but the rich cultural tapestry they've inspired. African bush elephants were listed as endangered in 2021 by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, or the IUCN, and African forest elephants were listed as critically endangered in the same year. In 1979, Africa had an estimated population of at least 1.3 million elephants. possibly as high as 3 million. A decade later, the population was estimated to be only 609,000. Between 1977 and 1989, elephant populations declined by 74% in East Africa. After 1987, losses in elephant numbers hastened, and savanna populations from Cameroon to Somalia experienced a decline of 80%, and African forest elephants had a total loss of 43%. Population trends in southern Africa saw unconfirmed losses in Zambia, Mozambique, and Angola. The IUCN estimated that total population in Africa as of 2016 is estimated to be only 415,000 individuals for both species combined. In 2020, the IUCN listed the Asian elephant as endangered due to the population declining by half over the last 3 generations. Asian elephants once ranged from Western to East Asia and south to Sumatra and Java. It is now extinct in these areas, and the current range of Asian elephants is highly fragmented. The total population of Asian elephants is estimated to be around 40 to 50,000. The poaching of elephants for their ivory, meat, and hides has been the largest threat to their existence. Historically, numerous cultures made ornaments and other works of art from elephant ivory, and its use was comparable to that of gold. The ivory trade contributed to the fall of the African elephant population in the late 20th century. This prompted international bans on ivory imports, starting with the United States in June of 1989, which was followed by bans in other North American countries, Western European countries, and Japan. Around the same time, Kenya destroyed all its ivory stocks. Ivory was banned internationally by the CITES in 1990. China was the biggest market for poached ivory, but announced they would phase out the legal domestic manufacture and sale of ivory products in May 2015. Other threats to elephants include habitat destruction and fragmentation. The Asian elephant lives in areas with some of the highest human populations and may be confined to small islands of forest among human-dominated landscapes. Elephants commonly trample and consume crops, which contributes to conflicts with humans, and both elephants and humans have died by the hundreds as a result. Mitigating these conflicts is important for conservation. As we've seen, elephants are not just survivors, they are the living legacy of millions of years of evolution, embodying both the wisdom of the past and the hope for the future. Their journey from the Proboscidea to today is one of adaptation, resilience, and awe-inspiring strength. But as we learn from their story, elephants face challenges today that could threaten their survival. From habitat loss to poaching, the future of these magnificent creatures is in our hands. Elephants have been part of our shared story for millennia, symbols of power, wisdom, and connection. From their sacred roles in ancient cultures to their fight for survival in today's world, these majestic creatures remind us of our responsibility to the natural world. Their history is a lesson in balance, of reverence and respect, of learning from past mistakes, and of creating a future where humans and elephants can thrive together. Protecting elephants isn't just about saving a species, it's about preserving the very essence of what makes our planet extraordinary. Join the fight to protect elephants. Learn more at the International Elephant Foundation's website. There are links in the description that will take you straight to several resources that can help you join the mission to save these amazing animals. Every action counts. Thank you for watching. If this video inspired you and you would like to see more in-depth videos about the world's most amazing animals, please like, share, and subscribe and support our mission of wildlife conservation. Together, we can ensure that the story of these animals continues to inspire generations to come. See you next time, and until then, keep your curiosity wild.